Hello, my name is Shelby Jansen. I'm your lead mathematics instructor, and I'm making this video to go over some of the key points from the in-service from Friday night. So for those of you that were unable to make it, you'll be able to see what we covered, and for those of you that were here, you'll be able to see again what we did, and I will elaborate on a couple other items that we didn't quite have enough time for. One of the first things that they talked about in the general session was course initialization. And when you go into your Angel, you're going to notice that there's some pre-slugged or pre-loaded material already there for you. So whether you're teaching a face-to-face or a hybrid or an online class, there's certain things that you have to have there. So make sure that if you're teaching face-to-face, you for sure have to have your syllabus, but if you're teaching hybrid online, you've got a lot of different key components you got to have in that Read Me First folder. So make sure you're doing all of that. And for those hybrid and online courses, remember that the instructional design team will be looking at those shells probably over the weekend, so try to have that done as soon as you can. Another important topic they discussed was security. The phone number I want to share with you is 677-1911, and that is a 24-hour line, and that is an emergency line. So if you have anything that you need and you cannot get a hold of security at the building, if you call that number, it goes directly to a pager of one of our security officers. So that's a very important number to have. So they stress the security, and they will be locking the east doors at, I believe, 7:30 in the evenings. So you might just remind your students, if you have an evening class, that they'll be able to exit, but they will not be able to re-enter those doors. They'll have to go around to the other entrance. Now on to some of the things we talked about in our department. We did briefly talk about introductions. I don't know if you're aware of this, but we now report to Pam Doyle, who is the Dean of General Ed. Previously we have reported to Leslie Berryhill, and she is no longer here, so Pam is now our Dean. Patty is our academic coordinator, so if you need anything, if you can't get a hold of me, talk to Patty. She's on the second floor at Southside. And you can see some of the other members of our department there. The next thing, adjunct expectations. We will talk more about professionalism and professional setting. I want to go over these real quick. Please, please, please make sure that you're always checking your email at least every 48 hours or 3 times a week. That is the primary source for communication. So make sure you're checking that and checking it regularly. Make sure you're dressing appropriately, no jeans or shorts. The building, you know that if you've taught here long or just one class, you know that the walls are very thin. So just let your students know that when it's break time that their voice does carry, and to keep it down the hallways, and especially some of the language that we're hearing, too much profanity going on and at a very loud noise. So make sure you just remind your students of the noise level during break times. Be prepared. There's the Angel Instructor Planning Form that they gave us in the general session. Just kind of outlines everything you need in Angel, like what I talked about earlier. But make sure you're there at least 10 minutes before your class starts and you're prepared, and the students will notice if you're prepared or not. So please be on time and prepared. If you need to cancel, you can contact me. My number is 316-993-1988. That's my cell phone. Or you can email me, but of course you'll probably get me faster if you call me, depending on the time of day. So make sure that you have that number and plug it into your phone. Also, they gave us another phone number. If you do not get a hold of me and I'm not returning an email, make sure you contact a person. Here's another number, 677-9559, and that will actually ring to several people here at WATC. So if you're not able to get a hold of me, please make sure you call that line and let them know you're canceling class. Of course, if you know in advance that you're going to need to cancel a class, we'll need to get a sub for that. So just contact me and I'll help you with that. Your syllabus, you'll need to make sure that you get that done and sent to me as soon as you're able to. Make sure that you are naming it in the appropriate nomenclature, which you'll see here on the screen. FA, and then your course, and then the title of the class, and then your first initial and last name. You can have no spaces, or you can have spaces. I don't think that matters. And I will forward those, I will look them over and then forward them on to Pam so that Patty can put them up on the intranet. So make sure you get those, and then for those of you with hybrid and online courses, remember you have to have everything loaded by this weekend, so you'll want to get those to me as soon as you're able to so I can look them over. Make sure within your syllabus that you do include the appropriate textbook information. Here is a document, and I will be sure to send this to you as well, so that you can see the picture, and you can actually, I like to include the picture on my syllabus of the textbook, and you've got the appropriate ISBN numbers, so make sure that your students have the appropriate information on the textbook they need for class. Of course, you know by now what you're going to be teaching this fall. If you've got any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to email me anytime. For those of you who are here at the meeting, we talked about how we're adding more and more classes at NCAT. So if you're interested in teaching at NCAT, please let me know. Those do not run traditional 8-week or 16 weeks. Usually they're 4 weeks and they meet 2 or 3 times a week. So if you live close to NCAT and would be interested in that, please let me know. We're currently getting ready to start planning for our spring. So if I've already got some instructors in mind, that would be great. We spent most of our time looking at our department guidelines, and what I have highlighted in yellow we discussed. We're going to keep the 55% exams, 15% quizzes, 10% homework, and 20% final exam. We're not going to change that. We did discuss test corrections or retests. So if you've got any comments or feedback on that, I know that in the past I have allowed test corrections but only have given 1/3 of the points back, and it only changes the test score by a letter grade. So if a student got a C, then the best they can get is a B. So just make sure that if you're allowing test corrections, let me know what it is. Make sure it's stated in your syllabus, and be sure that the student's not allowed to get 100% on the exam, because then that defeats the purpose of having an exam. As far as the comment that we were all concerned with the finals and what we put in our syllabus, I will reword this a little bit. We'll keep it basically the same, but we felt at our meeting that there was a strong enough urge to have the part in there where they have to get a C or better in the course to move on to the next course. So I'll just tack that on and I'll send that to you guys. MathLab is to be used as a supplement to the course material. It's not to be used in isolation. So if you're teaching online or hybrid, make sure there is some other teaching or instructional material, whether it's you've uploaded your own YouTube video, or you've made a video, or you've made a screencast-o-matic like what I'm doing here, or if you've got a Pencast if you're using LiveScribe, or even if you just found an instructor that you really like on YouTube and upload some videos from them. Make sure there's just more information than just the student out there on their own with MyMathLab. There was a little bit of discussion about finals for online classes. I know that Sherry Utash and Pam Doyle have discussed about having those finals online instead of being face-to-face, but we all agreed that it was very important for it to be face-to-face, and if there was some piece of technology that we could use to ensure that, or we could see them taking the test virtually, that might be acceptable. But I'm going to share our concerns with Sherry and Pam, so I will let you know and update you on that conversation. Should traditional face-to-face courses use MyMathLab? This would encourage students to rework problems. I know it was brought up that other colleges in the area use the Hawks for traditional courses. Right now we just use Pearson's MyMathLab. Is that something we want to look at for all math courses, including face-to-face courses? I know Wichita State does that too. So if you've got any feedback on that, please let me know. We also talked about calculators for pre-algebra, and currently our policy is for use after Chapter 10. After looking at the textbook, I would think it would be acceptable to use a calculator after Chapter 5. If you think that we need to look at allowing a calculator earlier, that is fine. We can definitely have that conversation as long as we're, having students show their work. I do not have a problem with calculators. In fact, everybody uses a calculator, so we might as well, teach our students how to use a calculator. So right now, I think I will change this in our guidelines to use after Chapter 5 until we discuss it further. This is a document that we were unable to spend a lot of time on during our meeting on Friday. But what it does is just our expectations and protocols for all of our math courses, and as you can see on the left-hand side, expectations for Angel, instructional strategies, MyMathLab, and technology that we have available, and across the top I have traditional, hybrid, and online. So up here in the blue with the Angel, it's kind of what I've already talked about, all the Read Me First documents. Make sure if you're teaching online that you do include additional instructional resources for students. We want them to have teaching and not just MyMathLab. Make sure anything you upload to Angel is PDF. That way a student can't download a Word document and change it. That's just keeping everything secure for you. And if you need any help with Angel, whether it's the attendance or the grade book, feel free to email onlinelearning@watc.edu, and Casey Eubank will be getting with you. It is expected that all courses use the attendance on Angel as well as the grade book. So if you use an external grade book like a spreadsheet or another program, the students need to have a way to at least weekly see their grades in Angel. So if you want to just put in averages into the grade book on Angel, that would be fine. The grade book is very user friendly, so if you need help with that, I'd be happy to help you, or Casey can definitely help you with that. The next section, instructional strategies. The first thing I have is flipped classroom. I'm actually going to be doing the flipped classroom in a couple of my courses, and I'll let you know how that works out for me. I've got a little bit of information here and some links if you want to look at that. We talked about some best practices and taking notes or cooperative learning, setting objectives and providing feedback. Students want to know how they did it in a timely manner. And then if you want graphic organizers or some information on foldables, there's some links there, so please click on those for more information. You can read down here the technology that we have available. I do have LiveScribe pens available for checkout. I have 3. I've got, I believe, 2 that are already spoken for, but I know that KCU Bank also has some that if more people are interested, we can check those out. So make sure you're checking out all of this information. And then over here I have a matrix of online resources that you guys have submitted, resources and websites that you guys use, so I thought I'd share those with you. And so you can click on matrix of online resources for that. We're going to be looking at collecting some additional data, enrollment versus students that take the final exam versus overall course grade, and effectiveness of instructional delivery. The middle one, final exam versus overall course grade, you may have noticed if you taught a summer course that the header at the top included a space for overall course grade as well as a space for the final exam grade. We're going to be looking at both of those, so make sure that you do have those filled in when you submit your finals to me. Hopefully soon. I do have some finals from some of you, so if you still are holding on to your summer finals, please send those my way. If you were here on Friday, you got a folder that had your course standards for the courses that you're teaching and a copy of the final exam. For those of you that were not here, I will definitely put those in your box so that you have those. What I'm asking you guys to do is to have some input as far as what we want to test on our final. So when you look at your course standards, if you could just look at those, and if you could rank the concepts that you think are reviewed, that they should already know coming into your class with an R, mark the ones that probably they've never seen but you're going to introduce, or maybe it's you're taking a concept to a higher level and they've probably never seen that before. Go ahead and put that as an introduce. And then anything that you think they should master before they leave your course and move on to the next, if you could label that with the M. In my mind, everything that you have labeled with an M, we really should be looking at putting on our final. So if you could give me some of that information, that would be great. I'll be working on that this semester. Just to wrap things up, some things that you can be working on or things you need to submit. The WOTC in-service survey, I completely forgot to give you guys, and I will be attaching a Google Doc that you can click on and enter the information. I'll pass that along to Patty. Submit your summer finals if you haven't already done so. The summer survey that I sent, I think back in June, there's a link to it here. So you can click on that link and it'll take you there and you can fill that out. It's also in a couple emails I sent earlier, probably in June, July. Course syllabi submitted prior to first class meeting. Try to get those to me as soon as you can. And course standards and final exam review. If you can work on that at all this semester, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'd love to hear your feedback. That is a real quick recap of what we talked about Friday night. If you've got any questions or feedback for me, I'd appreciate it. You can email me, sjansen, that's Jansen, at watc.edu. And if you've got any other questions, my office is at G214. I'm on the second level. Feel free to come by and see me anytime, and I'll be checking in on you guys pretty regularly. So come and see me, and I hope this was helpful. And let me know about this Screencast-O-Matic. This was my first attempt at it. So let me know what you like, or if you like it, or if it worked out okay. And if you're interested in doing this in your class, let me know. Thanks.